What's happening, guys? Ratzi here from DJKit. Normally, I would be welcoming you to the Rat Cave right now, but it's not often that I get to review a controller which is as portable as this brand new Pioneer DJ DDJ-200. So I thought I'd go a little bit rogue with it and go through some of the main features of the controller from my very own decking at home. Obviously came up with this idea when we had this lovely heat wave recently, and as per, set everything up to film, and the sun hasn't come out at all. So, you know, that's British weather for you, but still, yeah, this brand new Pioneer DDJ-200. Now, let's get into this. What I want to say, first and foremost, I'm just going to be going through the kind of main features of this controller today. I'm not going to be going through all of the ins and outs of the different streaming apps and stuff. That I will save that for another video. So I'm literally going to show you how to connect the DDJ-200 to your phone, because this bad boy works with your phone, your tablet, and also it does work with Rekordbox DJ software on your laptop as well. But again, I'll be going through that on another video. So just today, we're going to just cover the basics of this brand new controller, and yeah, see what I think of it, basically. So let's get into that now. So right, first and foremost, I've got my phone here with the WeDJ app. I've got it plugged in. When you get this controller, what's included in the box? If you reference to my unboxing video, which I've already done for this controller previous, it comes with a USB cable, which is to power the controller. So basically you plug it in to any kind of phone charger, USB slot on the wall, on a plug or whatever, but obviously a phone charger kind of works best for it. And it comes with the controller itself, obviously, and then Pioneer supply you with this lovely headphone splitter. The point of the headphone splitter, obviously, is all of the sound from this controller is coming out of your phone. The controller itself doesn't have a sound card in it, so there's actually no headphone slot or master out on the controller itself. It all comes out of your phone. So Pioneer very kindly supply you with this headphone splitter, which as you can see here, I've got one side of the splitter coming into these lovely Pioneer headphones here, and the other side of the splitter is going out into my DM40 speakers. So yeah, that's first and foremost, that is like the most important thing to know about this controller. It doesn't have a sound card in it. Everything, all of the sound is run through your phone, but Pioneer give you the splitter in the box. So it's really, really easy to get it all connected. Simple as that. But what you do need to do, which I'm going to show you now, actually what I'll show you first is actually how to connect the controller to your phone in the first place, because the phone, even though it is obviously connected to your headphones and your speakers via the splitter, there's no actual connection from the phone to the controller, and that is because this controller is completely Bluetooth. So, you know, from your phone or your tablet, let's say, as well. So I'm going to show you now how to connect it to the controller itself. So I've got WeDJ open here. If you just go into settings, as you can see here, there's a little connect the DDJ-200. Click on that. As you can see, it says not connected. So click on that. And Bob's your uncle, we are in. So now go out of the settings, done, and we are in. Connected your my phone to the DDJ-200. It is as simple as that. So no cables required at all to connect the controller to your phone. Completely done via Bluetooth, which is absolutely fantastic. So right, I'm all connected. Let's look into some of the features now. Now, like I said before, I'm not linking any of the music to the sort of streaming sites on this video. That's something which I'm going to go into more detail down the line. So that'll be in videos to come. So what I'm using now is I'm using the 2 tracks which actually are included with the Pioneer WeDJ app. There's like a demo track 1, demo track 2. Basically, I've kind of done it as well to cover the copyright. Obviously, you know, YouTube doesn't like it when you use other people's music in your videos. So yeah, just using the 2 demo tracks which are included with the WeDJ app at the moment. But you know, it's kind of a nice progressive housey kind of beat, which, you know, nice and simple to show you guys the features. So let's start by actually looking at the controller itself. So it is such a diddly little controller. It is literally like, if you compare it to the DDJ-400, it is a lot smaller, but the jog wheels are still actually quite a nice size, which is ace for a controller that's so small. It's got your standard 3-band EQ, and it's actually got a filter on it, which is a brilliant touch because for a controller this size, you wouldn't really expect any kind of effects. Well, I wouldn't anyway. So it's great that they've put a filter on it. We'll take a look at the filter shortly. It's got these 8-beat pads down the bottom here, or performance pads, sorry, as they're called on this controller, and then the cue and the play, all laid out in the kind of asymmetrical way that Pioneer are making their controllers these days to match the kind of club standard format. So like, on other controllers, you might have the play and the pause over this side, and then it would be completely symmetrical and have the play and the cue over this side. So, sticking with Pioneer's kind of club standard layout, even on this little controller, really, really good stuff from Pioneer there. Obviously got your shift button, you've got your sync button, and transition effects and phase sync button here, which I will get onto shortly, and then your headphones. So the cue, to hear channel 1, you click 1, to hear channel 2, you click 2, and to hear the master, you click the master. What you'll notice, I know, I'm outside, so you might not be able to kind of see the light, but there is this MIDI little light here, which it's not a button, but it's just a little yellow light, which basically tells you when your DDJ-200 is connected via Bluetooth to your phone or your tablet. So now let's take a look into the WeDJ app and see how it works with this DDJ-200 controller. So okay, taking a first look at the app, as you can see, I just got this, demo tune on the go. Now the waveforms are obviously going horizontal, but you can actually change this by clicking here in this little waveform, and then you can have them like that. So that's an ace thing, for people that are used to vertical waveforms. Serato users are more kind of likely, in my past experience, to be using vertical waveforms, but obviously you can do it in Rekordbox as well. So you can change the waveforms by just clicking that little wave there. That's horizontal, and then the one in the middle is this WeDJ. It kind of gives the whole turntable look. As you can see, it reacts to when you're touching the jog wheel. But my preference is the horizontal waveform like that, sorry. Now, what I want to do now is hop straight into the performance pads and how they work, because if you'll see on the controller itself, typical to other Pioneer controllers, the performance pads have what they are along the top, so you can press whatever function you want to use them on along here, and then normally they've got a secondary function which you press the shift and press that. But on this DDJ-200, you select your performance pads functions within the actual phone app itself. So at the moment, as you can see, it is on hot cue. So you've got 8 hot cues there. Pretty simple, everyone knows what hot cues do by now, but I'll just show you now. So it's on hot cue. Let's pick this first hot cue here. So as you can see, I just put a hot cue in there, and then whenever I click that button, it will go back to that particular hot cue. So as you can see, you can have up to 8 hot cues, which for some reason they've gone for the alphabet rather than numbers for some reason. I'm not sure why they've done that, but yeah, you can have up to 8 hot cues. You can see them all here, and then to delete your hot cues, all you do is hold shift and press whichever hot cue you want to delete, which is the same function on all of the other Pioneer controllers as well. So, with this controller, I'm sure that I'll keep coming back to saying this over and over again, but with this controller, it shouldn't fool you how small and, low in price it is. It does function the same way as even the higher end controllers. So, really, really good from Pioneer. The kind of standard thing that they've been doing at the moment with all of their new controllers is bringing out, so say you get this as a complete beginner, if you then hopped up to say the DDJ-1000 controller, you would still kind of know where everything is because they're laid out the same and the functions work the same. So that was the hot cue function, pretty simple. Now, something else to note about this controller, what is missing, say, even from the DDJ-400, is there is no manual loop function on the controller. So normally they're kind of up here where you can click in or out, or there's a 4-beat loop. All of the loops on this DDJ-200 are within the performance pad. So if I just click on loop here, then it quickly tells you, if you hold loop, it will tell you what all the pads are in terms of how big the loops are. So it starts on 1/16 and goes all the way up to an 1/8. So I'll just show you that now quickly on this tune as well. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory about the loops. It tells you how big they are, and it tells you which pad is which size loop. So yeah, pretty straightforward there. So now let's go on to the pad effects, which is just down here. Again, tells you what they all are when you hold the button on your phone or tablet here. But these are actually customizable. So what you can do is just go on to edit, and then you can decide which effects you want to add. Say there's an effect which you don't really use very often, you can customize them there. But I mean, I'm quite happy with these as they are. I won't go through them all. I'll just use a couple as an example. So if I just take that off, the performance pad's now obviously selected to pad effects. So if I actually just hold that pad effects button, then it will keep the screen up telling me which effect is what, so I know which pad to press for which effect. So let's go for a half echo. And then obviously the effect keeps on going for as long as you're holding your finger down on the pad. So the last function of the performance pads is the sampler effect. Now, sampler is something which you see on quite a lot of controllers. It's actually missing from quite a few as well. So for them to put a sampler on this tiny little DDJ-200, I think that is such a nice touch from Pioneer. But let's take a little look into it. So as per the others, you click on it, it kind of tells you quickly. But if you click and hold on it, then it will tell you all of the samples which you've got going on here. And now, because I've got it selected, all of these performance pads now turn into the samples which in front of you here on your laptop or phone. So, at the moment, I've got it on effects pack. So it's worth to note, actually, these sampler, you can actually customize the sampler as well. So you can customize the pad effects and you can customize the sampler. So it's going to edit. So this is effects pack, but I don't really need an effects pack because I've got the pad effects. So let's see what's in the essentials pack. Classic, essentials. Do you know what I mean? Now you are Tim Westwood. That might go over quite a few young watchers' heads, but yeah. So you've got all of these effects in the sampler. There is no sample volume on the actual controller itself. You control the volume here. So again, kind of touch screen going in. So if you want your horn, you can control the volume like that. So that's how you use the performance pads. They run completely from your phone. Again, goes back to this DDJ-200 not having a sound card. Everything that you're doing here is running from your phone or tablet. So now then, let's take a look at the transition effects feature. Now, this button is just in between the two channel faders here and just above the crossfader. So what this does is basically, like it says, transition effects. It puts an effect on mixing from one side onto the other using the crossfader. So I've just still got this channel 1 on that same loop that I used before to show you how to use the loop on the performance pads function. So we'll get that going, then I'll drop the tune on channel 2 in, and I will use the transition effects to sort of move it over so that you can hear what it sounds like. So that's what it sounds like without the transition effects. So, you know, that's just two tunes playing at the same time with the crossfader in the middle. So if I turn the transition effects on, as you could hear there, basically that was the roll mix effect. So it did, you know, a nice little roll. The more that I moved the channel fader over, the faster the roll got, and it just made basically the mix into the next tune. You know, it kind of made it sound a little bit more funky, stuff which you might kind of end up doing down the line when you're using, you know, the DJM range or whatever, you know, using the actual sort of color effects or the effects on the mixer. So nice little function there. That was the roll mix. So, but this is actually customizable. So all of these things, I mean, they say that, you know, the roll mix here is in the build up effects, or, you know, you've got the kind of breakdown effects here. So, you know, loads of different options. I'll just do one more. Let's do an echo out mix. We'll see what that sounds like. So there you go, you know, sort of echo out basically exactly what it says on the tin. But yeah, that's a really, really cool feature of this DDJ. It's, I suppose, you know, to spark creativity down the line with, you know, not just blending one tune into another, but sort of, you know, pushing beginner DJs, I want to say, but any DJ that's using this controller to kind of, you know, experiment with effects. Now, as I mentioned before, this controller does have the beat sync. So if you can't really beat match yet, you know, that's your kind of get out of jail free card or whatever. But also, you know, if you don't have a monitor or whatever, I'm not going to get into the whole beat sync debate. But yeah, this controller does have beat sync. I think it's a really good thing because this is a beginner's controller. So it will, you know, get a beginner DJ into kind of, you know, once you've got your tunes in time, blending the two together, you know, using that transition effects feature on the controller or whatever. But basically, the second function of that transition effects button is called phase sync. So phase is something which Pioneer DJ's record box introduced a while back now. It basically analyzes your tune, figures out where the breakdowns are, and, you know, where the tune drops and stuff, which works really well with the DMX lighting, but that's a completely different subject. But how it works on this is it again analyzes the tune, figures out kind of, you know, when a good time to drop the next tune in would be, basically like an auto mix function, but then it will mix it in for you, which again, you know, sort of, you can F and blind about how, oh, I'm a real DJ, you know, I do it myself. This controller is aimed at beginners. So it's a really good feature for a beginner DJ who, again, you know, isn't very confident in mixing or beat matching or whatever, mixing the two tunes together and just getting a feel for it. So let's take a look at how that works now. So, you know, this tune, as you can see on the waveform up here, you can see the breakdown down there. What I'm going to do, and actually double up to show you how to search through the tune, is it is obviously completely touchscreen. Just press like that to search through the tune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this phase sync just before this breakdown to see when it figures out to drop this next tune in. So to press the phase sync, you have to press shift and this transition effect button. Let's give it a go. Now, as you can see, this timer up here on channel 2, I've got channel 1 playing, but there's a timer counting down on channel 2. So it's figured out, it started there at 30, so it's figured out that this breakdown is 30 seconds long. And what it's going to do is it is going to drop this next tune perfectly synced in on the drop of channel 1. Let's see if it works here. See if it gets it right. Would you look at that? Absolutely spot on perfect. So that's the phrase sync function, you know, really, really cool thing to do. Some might say it's cheating. Like I said before, I think that's a really, really cool function for a beginner DJ. So now just the last few kind of functions within the app itself. None of these are on the actual controller. They are stuff which you access through the WeDJ app by, you know, like I said, like I keep saying, touchscreen on your phone or on your tablet. So there is the slip mode, you know, which you should know by now. Basically, you know, you can play around, you can scratch, you can pull the jog wheel and all this stuff, but the tune will keep on going and drop where it would have been had you not sort of played with it. So just an example of that. If you know, you see that white line going through the tune, that is where the tune should still be playing. So yeah, that's the slip function, pretty self-explanatory really. Now, obviously, you spoke about the pad effects and the sampler and stuff, which have got effects in the samples as well. But there is another effects unit within the WeDJ app, which is this little button here. So what this is it's kind of like a chaos pad, kind of like a touch screen effects, basically. So if I just bring this tune back in, it's like an XY axis kind of effects pad. So at the moment, I've got it on filter and echo. And basically, when you touch on your screen, it will do a little bit of the filter, a little bit of the echo, depending where you're touching. So as an example, so, you know, just another thing for maybe transitions or whatever, however you want to use it. But that's a really cool effect. But something which is awesome about this app actually is, you know, I showed you with the pad effects, I showed you with the sampler as well. The majority of the features within the app, you can edit them all. So let's edit this this XY axis. So, you know, on the top here, we've got it on filter. Let's take it down to, let's say, crush. And then down here, we'll change this echo to a trans effect. So now, really, really cool. So what you can do as well on this is, you know, the trim is basically the volume of how loud this effect is within the mix. But then what you can do as well is, if you do the hold button up here on the top left, then it will literally hold that effect so that you don't have to keep your finger on your screen. And the effect will stay there until you take the hold button off. Like that. Now, it is worth to note as well, you know, at the start of this video, I said about these two filter knobs on the actual controller itself. Within this XY axis, you can change what sound, or what effect, I should say, comes out of these two knobs. So, you know, at the moment, I've got it on crush from where I just used that example of how to use this XY axis. But if you click on crush within, you know, after clicking edit, you can choose from all of these different effects to use on these two knobs here. So let's put it back to filter. To get rid of this XY axis, by the way, you just click that button again. So now, yeah, that knob is now a filter knob. That's the high pass filter. You know, nice filter actually, to be fair. And then the low. So then what I can do now is go back into that XY axis, go up here, sorry, click edit first, go up here, and then now let's have it as a jet effect. So then we'll get rid of that. And there you go, it's now the jet effect rather than the filter. So, you know, what's really cool about this is that the majority of the features within this app are customizable. So it's not just what you see. You've got to delve a little deeper to really, really play around on it properly. So within the actual WeDJ app as well, there is an auto mix function. Now, you know, within here, you can select your playlist, you know, all tracks or your playlists or whatever, and it will mix all of your tunes together for you. So, you know, really, really nice for you just for background music if you're fed up of DJing at your party or in your garden, on your decking like I am right now. And then it's all customizable on here as well. So you can say, you know, when you want it to mix in the next track, or, you know, what effects, whether or not you want the transition effects to be used on it or whatnot. And also what you can do as well is actually record your mix by just pressing that little record button there. So really, really good stuff within this WeDJ app. Thumbs up to Pioneer. So that is a DDJ-200 in a nutshell. Just to round it off, this does work with 3 different apps. It works with WeDJ, which is the Pioneer app, which I just took you through there. It works with Algorithm's DJ app, and it also works with eDJing, which I haven't actually used yet. I've kind of dabbled in DJ a little bit, but I haven't used eDJing yet. So through the 3 different apps, each app kind of has a different feature on it. So obviously with Algorithm's DJ, you can use this with Spotify. With WeDJ, you can use it with Beatport Link and SoundCloud Go Plus, but you have to have a subscription for both of them, so it's not free. But with the eDJing app, you can actually use this with SoundCloud, the free version of SoundCloud, so that's pretty cool as well. And with eDJing, you can use it with Deezer, which unlocks a whole load of other stuff as well. But like I say, I'll get into that another time. So just one last thing, which I actually forgot to mention at the start of the video. I did say within the box, you do get the headphone splitter on the DDJ-200. But if you're using this with an iPhone like I am, obviously iPhone don't use a normal kind of jack headphone slot. So you will need a Apple to jack adapter to use the headphone splitter. So it's something which, you might not think of when you kind of buy this controller, but it's something that's very important. Otherwise, the headphone splitter is completely useless. So guys, thank you very much for watching. That was the Pioneer DJ DDJ-200. It's only just come out. It is a fantastic little unit just for fun. Like I said, really portable. I mean, I'm going to have a little mix on it in some weird places. But yeah, for the price point that this DDJ-200 is, and for the features that you get in just the WeDJ app, let alone the other apps that it works with, this is an absolute steal in my opinion. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please like, share, subscribe, and do all the good stuff. My name's Ratzi for DJKit. Peace out.